Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a review for you of this little guy. And, well, to give you the backstory, I was on the Amazon, and I was getting ready to do a review of, the quartz versus mechanical, and so I figured, you know what, okay, I am gonna order a really inexpensive watch, and so I did. I placed an order on the Amazon for a $5 watch, a watch that is just $5, completely including shipping from China and everything. So right here, $5 a fury, and I expected to get a piece of crap, but what I ended up with was something so much more. And so to that end, I would like to present to you my review of the GT Grand Touring. Alrighty, so let's go on ahead and jump into the good, the bad, and the ugly of your Grand Touring here. First, let's start off with the good. So, right off the bat, this is a truly innovative piece in horology, partly because of its truly unique chronograph movement. A chronograph, of course, is a stopwatch. It keeps track of the elapsed time. And this, like any other chronograph, has 3 subdials. It's got hours over here, minutes, and seconds. And it has 2 pushers here. Now, one of the biggest problems with a chronograph is that if you operate the pushers underwater, that's very often a route for water to get into the movement itself. That's a very, very bad thing. And so the Grand Touring has completely eliminated this problem by making the chronograph pushers entirely non-functional. They are just chunks of some variety of metal or another that have been painted over and live attached to the case here. So no matter how hard you push on your chronograph pushers, absolutely nothing happens and water will not penetrate the case. Brilliant, brilliant idea. And of course, this has also led to a great simplification of the movement. Generally, to make a chronograph on top of a high-end watch, you take an existing mechanical movement, like here in your SIN 104, and then you add an additional layer, which contains the components for a chronograph. And that adds a great deal more complication, more jewels, more parts, more expense. But here, they've gotten around that by making the subdials on the chronograph completely non-functional. They've labeled them, and then they've glued down the hands, which, again, is truly innovative. It gets rid of so many points of failure for a chronograph, and honestly, for people who buy high-end watches, the chronograph is still just about as useful here as it is on any other watch. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant idea. So, wonderful. Moving on. This watch has an incredible power reserve. Your average, like your SIN 104 here, has a power reserve of about 40 hours. Your Lange & Söhne, it was exceptional. Power reserve of 10 whole days. Incredible. And the Hublot La Ferrari, it has a 45-day power reserve. This has a power reserve of about 2 years. That's incredible. Truly high horology here. Of course, this is made in China, which is known as the Switzerland of the Far East by, well, largely by me, but that's okay, it works. And in fact, it was shipped directly from China. No distributors, no middlemen. This arrived in an unpadded envelope just on the way from China. And there was no box, which avoids the environmental consequences of your Patek Philippe's with your high-end wooden boxes or your Rolexes. And let's face it, if you're a true horologist like myself, you're going to have 50 boxes hanging around in your room someplace or another, and you don't need that. So this just eschews that entirely. A beautiful, beautiful thing. And of course, everybody loves the charm of finding a brand new watchmaker, somebody that's just come onto the scene. And, well, this is just perfect for that, because not only is Grand Touring an emerging brand, but the person making this watch was almost certainly maybe 12 or 13 years old. That's brand new to the industry. You can be sure that the 12-year-old making this is going to be going places in the horological world. And someday you will see this person making the Grand Touring high complication, perhaps, and think to yourself, I had one of their very, very, very first pieces. So that's a wonderful thing. Of course, insurance costs for this watch are far lower. I mean, for your average, a Rolex or something like that, you might pay $50 a month or something like that to insure it on your policy. But this right here, you can self-insure. You put $5 aside and you're covered. It's a beautiful thing. Easy replacement policy. Absolutely wonderful. Of course, the crystal here is just a chunk of plexiglass, and that's actually an homage to the Moonwatch, the Omega Speedmaster Professional, the very original watch that was taken to the moon. So that's a brilliant piece of horological sort of callback, if you will. Absolutely wonderful. Similarly, the band here is rubber, and it's a very, very solid rubber. And this is clearly an homage to the Rolex Ever Rose Yachtmaster 2, which has recently shipped on their Oyster Flex bracelet. And as you can see here, the holes have only, well, frankly, have not been drilled out on the bracelet, which means that there is no lack of structural integrity in this bracelet, except where you have to punch out a hole to put it on your wrist. So again, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful homage to Rolex, coupled with the homage from the Omega. Absolutely stellar. You can see here that the indices and the second hand really just don't line up at all. And it's certainly depending on the angle you're holding it at. And this right here is clearly an homage to every damn thing that Shinola makes. So right there, again, horological pedigree in spades. This movement here is quartz, and, you know, most high-end watch people tend to eschew the quartz movement, but in this case, they shouldn't, because honestly, think of how many hippies absolutely love quartz crystals. Right there, they're convinced that they're going to cure cancer and whatnot, and so right here, this watch has the highest of modern hippie medicine built in. Of course, it has a diver's bezel, but it's non-rotating, which, again, reduces the number of moving parts and complexity. So you can very easily tell where 45 is, because it's labeled both here and on the inside, right here. So you will never, ever, ever be concerned with the location of 45 on the bezel. Beautiful thing. And then finally, because this is a quartz movement, this is far more accurate than most Rolexes. In fact, this exceeds COSC specifications for mechanical watches, running at a wonderful 0.75 seconds per day, which is just spectacular. This watch is right accurate. Very, very good. So that's the good. It's got a truly innovative chronograph movement that reduces the number of moving parts, reduces the chances of water intrusion, and frankly, it's just vastly simpler. Got a great power reserve. It's made in China by an emerging young watchmaker, no doubt. The insurance costs are cheap. It's got homages to Omega, to Rolex in the band, and to the indices not lining up, which goes right to Shinola. And, of course, it's just a beautiful thing. Now, it's not all good. There is, unfortunately, one bad thing. And that is that the lume right here is very, 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 very poor. In that there isn't any. So, that's sort of a problem. But the thing is, it's not really, because every good dress watch, every truly high-end dress piece, for instance, your IWC Portuguese or your Patek Philippe Grand Complication watches, they don't tend to have lume. And so this is just right in that same caliber, really. Caliber! Oh, Nick, you card. So let's jump on into the ugly, shall we? So the ugly here is just one thing, and that's that. Honestly, sorry about that. I should see a specialist or something. But the ugly here is that this is just a total piece of crap. I mean, seriously, holy cow! $5 just does not go a whole lot of a way here. I mean, the bracelet wasn't punched. The bracelet is terrible in and of itself. The non-functioning chronograph is a beautiful thing. I just love the fact that these are just glued on, the hands for the subdials. That's just stellar. And the fact that even the little rehout here, the parts, the crenellations to show off the indices, hopefully you can see there's actually overlap on top of the indices. That's pretty stellar right there. So, yeah, let's just jump into the final conclusion on your grand touring here. Basically, this is what you get. This is exactly what you would expect if you pay $5 for a watch shipped directly from China. Every single corner possible is cut. The chronograph is fake. The crystal is bad plastic. Your diver's bezel doesn't turn. And, you know, holy crap, this back isn't coming off anytime soon. But kind of the impressive thing is that you get something that's actually still pretty good at telling the time. This is more accurate than my Sin 104 here, which is, many thousands. I don't even want to do the math, but a large number of times more expensive than this guy. And that's kind of cool. The fact that a $5 watch can now outclass in terms of accuracy your Pateks and your Rolexes and your Sins and all of those things is pretty entertaining and is a marvel of modern technology. So, do I recommend this Grand Touring? I mean, at some level, it's a beautiful thing, just in the same sense that the Z Hunter is a beautiful pocket knife. But this is just a total piece of crap, and this is why you don't pay $5 for a watch off Amazon. I'm going to be launching a series coming up here soon looking for the very best inexpensive wristwatch, and I'll go on ahead and tell you this isn't going to win it. But it has brought me probably $5 worth of joy, and so hopefully it has brought you $5 worth of joy too. I hope this has been interesting to you and that you had a great time, and have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. And for the love of God, no matter how wonderful it seems from afar, do not buy yourself a Grand Touring. Bye now.